my vice. Man up from Mars, he tripping, I put that on guard. I got the digits, but I am not calling. Wizard at night, this be that forum. I'm shooting stack with that. Sunshine after that. Shooting stack with that. Sunshine after that. So yeah, you know, I had a conversation with her, but it's like the signals is always crossed. I mean, like, I say yes, cause she asked me to say yes. And then she's like, I didn't want you to say yes. I wanted you to understood that a yes was required to answer the question. I was like, what?
Get yes, can you get me? Let's hold this together, get this together. Hey everybody, welcome to the spot, the Stacked After Hours spot. I am your host, Natalie Cosby, and welcome to the show for Grown Folks Talk. Tonight we are talking about courting, the pathway to commitment. Are we still doing it? What is it? Is it outdated? So y'all get ready, get your cocktails, keep those fingertips loose because we want to hear your questions and comments on tonight's show. And here at SAA, we keep it lit and enlightening. So let's get into it. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, you got gold on the lady in gold.
Yes.
Lady in gold. Courting. Let's talk about courting, sunshine. First of all, can we define what what is courting? Because people are just like, people don't do that no more. They don't do that.
I mean, it's an outdated terminology. I think it was definitely created. The term as well as the action was definitely created to court someone into marriage or like a stable relationship.
Right.
And so yeah,
when we were doing research on this and trying to figure out, are we courted? Do we still court? And so on and so forth. I'm realizing I probably did a lot of, I don't want to do a dating and comparison, but I realize people say dating is collecting data so you can determine if you want to be with that person. And courting is actually stating those intentions from what I understand. And
I think sometimes we're courting as well too, and we're not realizing that that's what's happening as well.
You think so?
I think sometimes. I think
you know when somebody's courting you.
Sometimes people are clueless. They don't know.
I don't agree, but okay.
Sometimes people want to be courted and they don't state that intention. And so sometimes we get misconstrued by what people's actions are.
So when were you clueless when someone was courting you?
I guess there was, I guess in a previous relationship, someone did tell me that that's what it is that they wanted. They wanted marriage or whatever. At the time, I was not ready. And they were very adamant about the things that they were going to do or they were doing in order to get to that point.
Okay.
The previous relationship.
Okay. But you were not on the same page with them.
I was just not, I think I either wasn't listening or I just was not on the same page or I was not there yet.
Okay.
That was their intention. That wasn't necessarily mine.
Did you state your intentions?
At that time, I didn't want anything more. I was in, college, early career. I just was not thinking about, settling down at that time. I was more thinking about making money.
Okay. So you were like, but did you accept the courtship that he?
Of course. It was nice. Who doesn't? The actions associated with courting is always should be intentional, and it's always and it's not about going to dinner or whatever. It's the experience associated with whatever the activity is. And so whether it be, let's set up a movie night and have like a great conversation, a great movie, and chit chat or whatever, that to me is, the courting that I specifically like, and it's more meaningful to me.
Okay. Okay. So the getting to know, I think it is. I think it's the getting to know. To me, courting is definitely
Yeah, because
peeling back.
anybody could take you to dinner. Anybody could take you
Right. I think people think so. People think there's an economics in courting, and we can talk about that a little bit later in the
right.
show. But I
Mhm.
think the thing is, for me, I'm realizing I've probably been courted, but I wasn't receptive to the courting, just like
Right.
you said before.
Right.
But I knew that they were courting me. Their intentions were clear. I feel like when people date us and we don't really talk about the intentions, I feel like we're just dating. We're just
Right.
kind of experiencing each other,
Right.
and there's really no clear intentions. It's just like, oh, I'm seeing you. When I've been courted, I know they are intentionally getting to know
Got
me.
it.
Besides getting in my pants.
Right. Right. And then, a lot of people, and I think you said, we'll get into the talk about the economics of courting, but there's a lot of times we hear things like, oh, she just wanted a meal, this, that, and the other. Sometimes people are thinking that going to dinner or getting somebody flued out somewhere, that is courting with an intention, but they may just have the means to do that. That doesn't necessarily
That's how
mean,
they move.
yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want you
It's the meal
table solution.
plan. The meal plan, man, is real. You know what? All
Yeah.
right. On that note, we're going to bring in our panel to talk a little bit more about this. Welcome, panel. Look at y'all. So let's welcome back to the so according to her, we asked her, she said, according to her is showing interest through your actions. Let's welcome Miss Brooklyn's finest, Renee Mattingly. Hey, Renee.
Hi.
New to the show, and I'm super excited. He said personally, he did not start out with stating his intentions of marriage in his current relationship, but his intentions evolved as he courted her due to her intentions. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Reginald Russell. Hey, Reggie, welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Hello, ladies. How y'all doing?
Courting to her is proper dating. Courting is proper dating, and both have high standards. And if you don't meet those standards, you get put into the friend zone. Let's welcome Miss Tanera Matthews. Hi, TT. And then finally, courting to him is moving with greater purpose, clear intentions, and strong desires, painting my life's masterpiece. Of course, Hardy ha ha ha, Michael Charles. Hi, Michael. I felt like I was on Love Jones. It's like black thighs. How I love them black thighs. Anyway, let's get into it. So I want to really talk about y'all's experience in courting and how it has evolved, either in your current relationships or how you are moving in meeting your person, engaging them, and so on and so forth, especially at this age. And I want to start out with our current guest, Reggie, because Reggie, your story is really interesting. You said your intentions were not that of marriage. So just give us like a little snippet of what happened.
Well, I guess I was always open to marriage, but at the time when I started dating my wife, at that present moment, I was not. I didn't have the intentions of marriage. I've dated many times, and in most relationships, most young ladies will say, "Hey, I want to be married," but throughout that dating or courtship, it does not, or that person may not necessarily be ready for marriage with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in dating my wife Prudence, um, she stated her intentions and she was very clear on what she wanted. But of course, I'm a man. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll see. And throughout dating her, she pretty much showed me, the type of wife that she would be. I got a pretty good sneak preview. She reminded me a lot of my mother. She moved in that way. Um, we both came from very decent homes, homes that believed in marriage, long-standing marriages, and that was a plus for me. So most young ladies that I had dated in the past, they had never seen or lived uh, or saw a good marriage. And
Oh,
so this was different because she was the first person that I've ever dated that came from a household like my own. And
okay.
her parents, have been married for, 40, 50 some plus years. So just like my own. So it seemed to be very easy. It wasn't strange. It was never uncomfortable. And
So it
so
was easy. It was easy to peel back the layers during
absolutely, yeah.
y'all's
So
engagement before y'all got married.
yeah, absolutely. And so when that time came, it was easy for me to know that, hey, I'm about to ask this young lady to marry me, and I feel confident in asking her to marry me. I was not afraid because I felt like I knew who I was marrying and who I was about to ask to be my wife to live the rest of my
Okay.
life. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Uh Renee, you said that it's something that, it's them showing interest through actions. What are some of the actions that you consider that that you were in a courtship?
So whatever you said, you followed through on. That was what made me feel that you were actually attempting to court me. If you cared enough about me to make sure I was good, if you sent me flowers, if you sent me, well, like I remember one specific situation where the person would send me fruit baskets to work and made sure I got to work and made sure I got home from work. And if I had to run errands, that person was always there to make sure I was able to get through the errand. If I needed help with the errand, they helped. Um, Caring about wanting to show me a nice time. So people say it, but when it was shown to me, then I'm like, okay, this person was really trying to make an effort for me to see them and for me to see that they are showing me that they are very interested in me and they want to take this a little bit further than just being a friend.
Okay. All right, cool. Um, yeah, I wonder, and then you were saying like the intention and just doing actual things. And Michael, you were talking about painting pictures. What pictures, Michelangelo, are you painting that you claiming that you're going to paint the life that you want with this courtship? And how do you know that you're going? Go ahead, Michael. Sorry, I'm going to ask that question first. Go ahead.
All right. Well, in regards to when I'm referencing painting a picture or painting a masterpiece, I'm thinking about my entire life from the beginning, knowing that this person could be the one for me in my life, and taking the necessary steps to do that, to accomplish that, and what I would like to see that person or how I picture us to be, uh, leading to marriage or a long-term relationship.
Okay. Tanera, you always say that dating and courting are the same to you, right? You're just like, what are your you said you got they standards. So what are the standards that you think that, or they go straight into this friend zone? I'm just curious, like, what are the standards that you are requiring that even get you into that space?
So what I meant by that is prior to reading the definitions,
Mhm.
I always thought dating and courting was the same, except courting was just kind of something your grandparents said, and today we say dating. So I thought they were interchangeable. And so because I thought that way, I felt like the standards I would expect in someone who's courting me is the same as what I would expect from someone who's dating me. Not that, they're high or low or whatever, just I feel like they should be the same. So if someone's dating, hoping to eventually get to a place where they want to court you for marriage or whatever, everything like builds on itself. So I feel like all of them should have high standards. I mean, if you show up low with low standards, you're not going to make it to the next phase anyway. So I don't necessarily see where the difference is. Unfortunately, I kind of tend to, I was married 18 years, so I'm just going to speak my viewpoint. Sometimes I feel like sometimes in marriage, that's when the courting stops or things change. But from the time you meet someone and there's interest, I think all of that should, be pretty exciting.
It should be.
And I agree with you, Tanera, because what we're kind of saying when we say they're different is that you can accept mediocre when it comes to dating, but with courting it should be at a different level. And I agree with you, both should be at the same level. We should require the same amount of attention. We should require the same amount of interaction in getting to know each other. And if one turns out to lead to, if dating or courting, whichever one turns out to lead to marriage or a long-term relationship, then at least the standard is set from the get-go.
Right.
But is it really? Because I think the thing is are people getting, from whence dating before I came into a relationship, I found it really hard from the first point of people setting an intention about what they want, even myself.
Yeah.
So Reggie, you said your wife stated her intention. Tanera, you have talked about intention. Sometimes women are waiting for the man to state his intention. So I like this whole thing, especially at this age. I don't know if we don't want to be married to it, like actually say, I want to state something because we're afraid that we're going to run somebody off. Or is it just like, I don't want to put a stake in the ground and I'm not certain. Can we just talk about the whole journey of even stating your intention to get to the point so you can court? Go ahead, Renee. You're on mute.
So when Sunshine talked about, and Tanera hit on having the same energy in dating and in courting, I feel that maybe I don't agree with that so much, because if you put the energy I'm thinking of is being super excited and putting a lot of time into that person in the dating would not for me be expected as what you would put into courting, because the dating is you just getting to know me, right? So putting that stake in the ground, as you said, to say, this is what I want to do. I don't want this to I don't want to waste my time in this dating part if you're not trying to court me. I don't want to do that, because I want to get to know you at a pace that is comfortable and I don't feel pressure behind it. Like, if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to move on. And it's like, because sometimes those dates can turn into just a friendship. So I always look at it that way. Now, if I'm interested, forget the interested part. At the end of the day, I don't want to put the same energy on dating as I put on courting. And at the beginning, if you ask me what I am looking for, then I'm going to state it. But I'm not going to go into the dating part of it saying, I'm only doing this with the intentions of this turning into something serious.
But don't you have to date in order to get to know if you want to move to courting?
But
And so, in other words, if you have lower standards for dating than courting, how are you gonna ever get to the courting stage?
So I don't know if it's low standards for me. It's just less pressure. I put less pressure on the dating part than I would probably put on the courting part. So the less pressure meaning we go out. You don't have to wine and dine me in the dating part so much because we're having a good time. We're slowly getting to know each other.
Time out. Brothers, when y'all are interested in somebody, do y'all do full court press or is it just casual?
Well, I date, and I guess in my situation, I began to court as I dated when I said, okay, this is someone that I recognize that I think I can actually be with, you know.
Right.
And so I think that I progressed to that, or like I stated before, it evolved into, you know, into a courtship. But there have been plenty of people I've dated, and there's not been an inkling of a notion that I would marry that person. So not that I wouldn't want to be in a long-term relationship with them, but marriage and a long-term relationship were two different things.
So Reggie, was it her intentions that drove you to move differently? Her stating her intentions?
Not really, because like I said, I've had other women state those same intentions, but their intentions and their character didn't line up for someone that I would want to be with.
Got it.
But in her case, it did.
Okay. Reggie, I'm just curious. When did you state your intention?
When I got on that knee and gave her that.
I love it.
How long after you started dating? How long after you started dating or / courting that you got down on your knee?
About a year and a half.
It didn't take long, did it?
No, it didn't. And
well, somebody said people over 45 don't have time to court. Everybody on here is over 45, Reggie.
You know, and your close friends, your family, you know, they've been around, they've seen the people you've dated before, and they've got to know the people you dated before, and they get to know the person that you're currently dating, and hey, they'll let you know as well.
You ain't hiding her, are you, Reggie?
Oh no. So they'll tell you, they say, hey man, you know, that's a good one. Or they'll tell you, man, I don't know. You know, they'll let you know. You know.
But do you want, like for you and Michael, do you want a woman in the dating stage to kind of let you know from the gate, my intentions is to date and turn this into something serious?
Not necessarily, because I think that even if she hadn't, you know, stated her intentions, I think that, you know, we would have gotten there eventually. You know, even if she hadn't stated it, you know, I may have moved a lot slower, you know, but I think that when you know, you know. You know, I don't think it, because honestly, you know, although she stated she pressured me, and you get pressure, then, you know, you might get some adverse effects.
People are having a little bit of sound.
Oh, I thought it was me.
So I want to appreciate what you said, but I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back, Reggie. Michael, what about you? Intentions stated, or do you state them? Or you just
no? I don't state my. Look, listen. I know painting that picture, and when I reference painting that picture, it's for courting. If I'm dating, I'm noodling on a napkin.
Oh, I like that. You're noodling on a napkin.
Yes.
Are you drawing daisies?
No, I'm just.
No,
basically, I'm simplifying it because you don't. If I'm not serious I know exactly what my intentions are. I'm not going to put an effort into it. because I know exactly what I'm coming after. If it's long-term relationship, off the bat, I go full throttle. If it's not, it's just I know exactly. Exactly what dating is. There's a time limit.
But don't
Courting
you
for me is
want?
forever.
But don't men want to know what it is that a woman want, whether it's with you or not? At least you want to know, what does she want out of life? Does she want to be in a long-term relationship? Might not be with you. Does she want to get married, or does she just want to have a good time? So when you're dating someone, are you even asking that question, or do you even want to know, or does it even matter?
I don't want to know. I don't need to know because I'm going to be honest. I'm focused on what I'm looking to get out of the date.
So it's up to what you want and not what she wants.
No, and if the
You
individual,
said you're focused on what you're trying to get out of the date, not the
yeah, I know that
relationship.
sounds so cold and
It
and
does.
cal-
It does.
Let
Continue,
me refrain.
Michael.
Let me
Come
reframe
on,
it. But
Michelangelo,
I'm
take
being
us
straight
there.
up. There are individuals that you're dating because you want to listen. I love how she looks. Oh my God, she looks great. I would like to. And there's certain individuals that wait a minute, you can't do this. I'm looking to be with this person in a long-term relationship. You get that sense. And there's certain individuals that you go out with, that what they're all about immediately in the conversation. You pick it up. They don't have to say that, hey, this is my intention. You just get that vibe. I'm here, or I like you, and I would like to be in a long-term relationship. You got to be able to pick that up. Plain
So,
and
Michael,
simple.
once you determine that you want to pick that up and take it deeper and start peeling back those layers,
Mhm.
what does that start to look like for you? How do you keep it interesting? How do you get to know her once you realize, okay, she's hitting all the points? What is that once that relationship starts to get deep? What happens?
I get extremely creative. I become very creative. And it's just not about dinners. It's about the subtle little things. You get very detailed about certain things. You get to look at what kind of colors she likes, or what type of music that she likes. You really, really pay very close attention. You're more attentive when you're with that individual. I hope that answers you become more detail oriented when you do certain things.
So sometimes women can be dating and then misconstrue that for courting. And so how do you make it clear? I mean, without just knowing, how do you make it clear that, listen, I like dating you. I like what you look like. I like whatever means it is that to the end that you're trying to get to, but I'm not trying to marry you, or I'm not trying to be in a long-term relationship with you.
I think a lot of sisters, women out there they have that sense. They could pick that up, what a man is all about.
Some of them don't, and some of them
We
don't.
look for silver linings in clouds all the time. Like, it'll be one little gesture that you do, and we'll just take that and flip it.
That is true. That is true.
Tanera's over there with her arms crossed, giving us nobody, like giving us like, bitch, please.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as I'm listening to everything, I don't know if I really date. And I say that because, one, I was married a very long time, and I've only been single 6 years. So in the 6 years, I feel like maybe I've dated max 3 weeks. I feel like in 3 weeks, I kind of have a general idea of if I'm interested in getting to know you better. And if at that point I decide I want to get to know you better, you're the only one. So I don't date multiple people. So at that point I'm focused. And I expect that as well. So I met a guy before, really nice, liked him, etc. But he said he was dating. And I appreciated the honesty, to be honest, but yeah, that wasn't for me. So we ended it at that point. Not, great guy, but it just wasn't my style. So I guess I think I only court. And I have had probably more men have told me their intentions prior to me telling them my intentions. But, I'm a mother of 3 and a grandmother. And so I think sometimes men kind of wonder what my intention is because I'm focused, work and kids, and I'm doing other things. So, but I'm still focused on them, but they may at that point just wonder, like, what is it that you want at this age? You've been married, you have kids, your career, etc. So I think it naturally has become a part of an early conversation, and I think it should.
I do. I agree. Like, I think the timeline. I mean, Reggie, you said you were married in a year, right? Within the year and a
Actually,
month.
yeah, I think actually I was married within a little over 2 years.
Oh, within. Okay.
Yeah.
You were engaged quickly, though.
Yeah, I was engaged. Yeah, I was engaged quickly. Yeah, so
Okay.
married within a little over probably about 2.5 years.
So,
You bad.
go ahead.
Huh?
No, I said you keep adding. It went from 1.5 years to 2 to 2.5.
Well, let's see here. We started dating in 20. We got engaged in 21, married in 22.
Wow.
That you were
Yeah.
on. You
We
ain't
wasted
playing
no
it.
time.
Yeah.
You hemmed that one up quickly.
Yeah.
But I have a question. And this is not a question of judgment or anything, but I'm gonna ask you, Reggie, are you in the church world, the world of church?
Do I go to church? Do I
Yeah.
believe in Jesus Christ? Yes.
Yeah, so you are a frequent attendee of church.
Yes.
Because I find, like, in the environment of church, the way the dating and the courting happen is definitely different, and it's accelerated in that environment versus when you're not there, where people just sort of take their time. They don't feel the pressure to go there. But in the church world, in order to sort of, and I mean, I've been bad since the pandemic because I frequented church a lot, but since the pandemic I haven't. I see that people, to almost, this is gonna sound so bad, to sort of legitimize the experience that they want to have, they accelerate that
I
whole
understand
thing.
what you're saying.
I know what
Yes.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're coming from,
Right.
that dictates how you're going to move in the way you date, in the way you court, in the way you.
I agree with that, Ronnie, but I definitely think it still has to be that person.
Yeah.
I think if
Especially-
you're with the wrong person, it doesn't accelerate it.
I think,
In the church
I
world,
think
everybody finds the right person, because it's a lot in church. So you're telling you the right
so.
person.
Hold on, wait. Reggie, did you find her in church?
I did not.
Did y'all come together because of the church?
We did not.
Okay.
And I can tell you, like I said, I was married once before, and that marriage was accelerated. I understand exactly what you're saying, was accelerated because of church. But when I started attending the church that I attend now, I purposely did not get too involved. I went to Bible study, went to church, and that was about it. I'm a pew member. And I purposely became a pew member because I didn't want to get involved in too many different organizations and kind of get sideswiped, find somebody in the church, be with somebody in the church. I have my own personal reasons for that, but I just did not want to be involved with anyone that was
I think it's
that church.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it also just? I think it's where we are, where we live. I think that's probably culturally probably more what it is, because New York is a very single. If you live in the New York area or Northeast, it's a very single vibe. Even if you're married,
Right.
it can feel very people act. I'm not gonna say all, but I'm just saying it's a very individual vibe in the big city. So I wonder, in me dating somebody who's not from New York, currently I'm being courted. Not saying that men from New York don't court. I'm not saying that. But I think it's really interesting how it's different. It's a different, I think it's a different, and I'm kind of like, I think Reggie's person, I stated my intentions early on. So I just wonder, like, how do we, like, what is it, how are we navigating at this age? Ronette, you said you want to take your time. How much time are we talking about? And once
I'm not pressed. Like at this age, I have a family, I have my child. So I'm not pressed to do anything. Like I'm not pressed to make us a union legitimate so I can have a family. I have a family. So to me, it's just I'm just going with the flow, and whatever it turns into, it turns into. If it's not going in the direction I wanted to go in, then nice knowing you, and we'll either remain friends or we won't, and we'll both just move in a different direction. But I'm not pressed about the courting part. I'm right now about just I'm just enjoying it. You know, I want to keep solid people around me, but I'm enjoying it. I'm open to it going someplace, but I'm not pressed for it to go someplace.
Got it.
I think that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So one of the commentary in the comment section said courtship is a gender biased concept. Send me, buy me, take me only apply to the female. And so my question is, are women, should women be courting as well? Or do we court, or should we be courting?
I think women do well. You know what? Maybe the men should.
No, go ahead, Tanera.
Oh, I mean, I think I court. I mean, I think one, like again, I'm going to be pretty focused and faithful, and I think in that maybe a difference between dating and courting is, to me, I feel like it transitions to more, Netflix, cooking at home. Because when you're courting and you're serious, you're not eating out all the time and that sort of thing. So in my courtship, I feel like I do more because I'm constantly cooking, on a regular basis and that sort of thing. But, I think it's bigger than that. I think it's more how you make someone feel. Mm-hmm. And so, when I make him feel like he's my one and he's special and, he meets my family and my kids and, everybody has to respect the boundaries that I establish in that relationship and vice versa. I think that courtship actually we talk more about it being equal. Like, this is how I view this scenario. This is how I think it should happen. And I think, either we're going to be on the same page or different page or find that common ground. But I think it's more equal than one-sided when courting.
Men, are y'all courted? Do y'all
Yes. Definitely. Everything was very much reciprocated, from my wife. I felt like she really wanted me, so it was never a guess in that. And so she did things, like Tanera said, we cooked, we hung out, watched Netflix, and we were just always together. And, her introducing me to her friends, her family, and vice versa. So, it was never a time where I didn't feel like I was getting, courted back, I should say, or dated back.
So could I ask the men something? When a woman courts you, and I know a lot of men like to talk about feminine and masculine. Do you think that that's she's showing her masculine energy when she courts you, or you don't mind that?
No, she's showing her appreciation to me. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's feminine, though. What would masculine courting look like? I don't know.
I mean, some men are like, "Oh, that's courting is a man's job, or woman shouldn't be doing." I've heard so many different scenarios. I don't think there's a problem with it. I love actually courting.
I think we cater maybe we cater and they court.
Okay, got it.
Maybe, I don't know. Gentlemen, what do you think? I mean, Michael, you're shaking your head. Yes, you've been
No, I
courted.
agree with that. I agree with that. A woman, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman being feminine and showing that she could match the energy. And what I mean by that is that, look, if we go somewhere and you know that I like a certain type of music, I like a certain type of, I would appreciate a certain type of restaurant, a certain type of food, and you sort of, you make plans for that. That's courting. That's beautiful. There's nothing masculine about that. Thing is to completely show my appreciation for that.
So the one thing I want to say about that is, while I do appreciate being courted, I want to be courted with what is genuine to who you really are, because a lot of times we're courted and then it's not continued through past the court.
Representative.
But let me ask you, so you said past courting. Does courting ever really stop once you are in a relationship or married?
No,
And
it should never stop.
The thing. I think we think that it's something that only happens until you get married.
No. It should never
stop. Let's kind of expand upon the conversation around how do you maintain it in a relationship?
It should be.
Just be consistent. Continue doing what you've always done.
You said you enjoy what you've always done.
I say continue doing what you always done.
Yeah.
And I think we do that.
Yeah.
Do we? But I think the thing is like when you start to see a dip in the relationship, is it because you guys, when we start to see dips in relationships, and I think courting sometimes I think it's difficult sometimes to do in relationships if you are in the mundane. So I'm just like, what are some of the things that you do to keep it interesting?
But Natalie, what you always talk about is being intentional about the things that you're doing. So if you're intentional when you're dating, you need to be intentional about courting when you're in a relationship. And so I know you and your partner have your Friday night date night or whatever it is. I think it's important that we set aside some time, especially the fact that, life is going to happen and things are going to happen. It's really important to be intentional about continuing the courting concept. I'm very tunnel vision and I really enjoy creating an experience for the person that I'm with.
But what I'm trying to say, does it always have to be an experience? Does it always have to be something grand? That's what I'm saying. Like, so let me finish my point. My point was like we just saw that somebody said it was by me. What was it? By me. That's
Dr. Reggie.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is like when we say experiences, people always feel like it has to be something grand.
No.
I think it's just
an experience could be laying in your living room watching Netflix.
Absolutely.
As long as you create that experience. And I think sometimes we get our minds misconstrued with thinking courting is all about the dinner and the big thing, the big ticket items. But you can actually court so simply and so without money that you could go to a library and court. I mean, it doesn't, whatever the experience is, it doesn't have to be grand.
I think maybe, and I was the one that said dating and courting was the same, but the more we're talking about it, dating to me is probably more the spending money.
Yes.
Taking you out and that sort of thing. I actually think the courting is, those simple things, or like for example, and I probably have a lot of examples the more I'm having this conversation, which is good for me to appreciate, but because sometimes we can forget to appreciate. But so my son has homecoming coming up this weekend, and so he went to the mall, bought a suit, but it clearly doesn't fit, and so I've been busy with work, and then my boyfriend picked him up and took him to get it altered. I wouldn't have known what to do. So to me, that's courting. when you recognize a need and you don't have to be asked and you want to do it. It's just a part of, it's almost like a great friendship. If I'm busy and you cook, or you're busy and, I go run an errand to get this for you, or, all those things. I think that's the part of courting that can lead to something bigger. And that should continue throughout a marriage or whatever. And you should get to a point where you feel like that is natural, and you should be able to recognize that's not a representative. Because even a representative would get tired playing that role.
I think, yeah. And I wonder, I guess the thing, when you're talking about the representative, courting should actually start to peel back the layers.
Absolutely.
Right? Is that not the whole point of it? You start to peel back the layers and really start to learn the person's vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the library. I think I'm gonna write that one down.
Somebody said, does courting, this is a good question. This is in the chat. Does courting resolve conflict? Is courting also learning how to resolve conflict?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's kind of talk about that. When has that happened, and what does that look like?
Man, that's the key to courting. If I have to say, when I felt, if we're going to define courting as leading to marriage, my ride or die, or who I felt like, okay, this guy's truly into me, is during that phase where they won't give up. Like, they just don't give up on you. Your bad moments, your emotional moments, whatever all that looks like, they stay, consistent. I think that's the key. So
I'm confused then, because you guys, some of you said that courting should probably never end, right? So when you say never end, you mean in perpetuity? Like it's because if it's things that you do to keep the person happy and excited, then it's courting does not end at marriage, based on what some of you are saying.
Right.
So
it's
then,
not to keep them happy, though.
It's not
just natural.
Yeah.
So
courting,
so whether it's an organic situation, right?
It just becomes a part of what you do.
So then is courting a real thing then? Is it just is it really good?
Yeah,
you walk into a room. You walk into a room and she's standing there, and you just come up to her and just like you hold her hand, or just say, "Listen, I was thinking about you today. I love you. I just want to just say that." And you can. It's like that constant. These little things that don't cost anything.
But courting is the. I probably should have looked this up. Why is it called courting? Is it to bring someone into a space to get them to buy into you? You're courting them, right? So if you've already brought them into a space to get them to buy into you, once you've married them, then you've brought them into you. So why does courting have to continue?
So that you don't get
that's when the relationship dies.
Well,
I say courting is a sneak preview of who you are and who you're gonna be and who you're gonna be throughout that marriage. So that's why I said that when I started dating my wife, she showed me who she was. And so and she's who she's been from the beginning and now while we're married. And so if you're doing those things, if you're courting and you're doing those things into marriage, then basically that's who you are. You're organically showing people, or that person, who you are, how you're going to treat them, how you're going to love them. And it's going to go on until, like you said, into perpetuity.
Reggie, can you give us just some examples of what were some of the examples you did with your wife and just getting to, I don't even want to call it courting, peeling back the layers? What are some of the things that you guys did for each other?
I love to cook. I'm a pretty romantic guy. And so, I would cook her dinner, we would go on trips. We love to travel. Those are some of the things that we did and that we do. And and we would just sit and we would sit and talk, and we would always just make sure that we spend a lot of time with one another, whether it be just cuddled up on the couch, watching a movie, watching TV, and, just constantly spending time with one another. So that was who we were. That's what we did. And that's what we continue to do. And that's what we enjoy. And so I think that, courting is basically showing the person who you are and who you're going to consistently be, And so those are some of the things that we did and that we enjoy and that we continue to do with each other.
So Ronnie, I just kind of want to give you a little bit more about the courting thing and why it's necessary to continue in perpetuity. You have a daughter, you're going to continue loving her, and you're going to continue doing for her no matter what. And it's the same with the relationship. You have to think about it in that same terminology. You don't just get the child and then you just let the child grow up. You rear that child, you rear your relationship with that child, and you continue. And so it's the same thing with a relationship.
So I'm not confused about that part. Like I whatever you do, my thought was whatever you do in the courting is what should be continued in past the courting stage. But earlier you guys were like courting should continue throughout the relationship. And my thing is like, no, it's just you just being this person that I fell in love with. Just continue those actions. So I guess I felt like the word courting should end once you guys have decided.
I think some people say that maybe whatever you want to language you want. I think we're getting caught into semantics. I think it's either how you engage as a couple. Maybe some people say my husband still courts me to this day. I've heard couples say that. My man still courts me to this day. We've been together for 20 years. That's what makes it interesting and keeps it going. Like some people it's just like we always have something in our rhythm to keep us interested in each other. Yeah. I think that's more so what it is. You want to like it ends, now we're together. We don't get, but you still got to engage each other.
Well, what I'm going to say is if whoever I meet, if you start off bungee jumping with me, you better continue it 20 years from now because that's what you in, okay? I don't want to hear my knees hurt, my neck hurt, my back hurt. Keep it going, okay?
So I guess, Reggie, I'm not going to say that you set a blueprint for us, but I guess my question is, it's just like, I meet people our age and we're like, okay, I'm taking my time. I'm figuring it out, so on and so forth. And I realize, like, I wonder if a lot of people our age even get to the courting stage. Are we constantly in our dating aspect? Like, I call it 1 foot in the door, one foot out the door. Even folks who are married, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. So they're really not engaging the person. They're engaging the person just enough to maintain, but they're not doing everything they can to really keep it going.
I think that's laziness.
Is it? I don't think that's laziness. I think it's I think it's maybe you've lost. How do you keep? I don't necessarily know if it's laziness. I wouldn't call it laziness.
I think sometimes in those scenarios, and I'm guessing, but I think it's when people just don't want to be alone. And so they just date. They go out all the time. They met this person, hang out over here, and they're just moving and moving. But they know none of these people meet the standard to marry. But they're just having fun because that's what they're doing. The problem with that is if you don't take a break from it, do you really meet that person? Because your person, if they see you doing those things, do they approach you? And so, I think sometimes it is just the fear of kind of being alone or, and I think at this age, many people kind of deal with that. I don't want to be in the house by myself. The kids are gone. Who knows how long my knees are going to work. So I'm going to kick it as long as I can. And that's cool. And I think some people will get to a point where their mindset is, this is what I'm doing. in the midst of it, because I know Reggie very well, I do think, God does come in and say, hey, this is for you. And I'm going to put this person in front of you multiple times, or this situation. And it's up to you to really say, I'm going to stop that and pay attention. So I still think you have to be aware. You can't have a foot in and a foot out and you confused thinking this is something real when you know it's not. Just know what you're doing.
Yeah. I like that.
I like that, Tanera. I like that. I like that. I do.
Yeah, sometimes we are bored and there's someone that's available that is willing to take us out or willing to do something that you like, and you just end up spending a lot of time with them, and then you probably don't have any intention, or he or her may not have any intention to stay together or get married or whatever long-term relationship. I agree. You're blocking your blessing in some cases.
Yeah. I'll say, like, for me, right before this relationship, and it was intentional. I really started hanging like my sorority sisters, and I literally had a plan. Like on Mondays, I go here with this group, and on Tuesdays, I'm gonna hang. But everyone was just friends. I went through a phase of loving me and wanting to make sure, like, I just enjoyed me without the dating. Like, I didn't really want to date. And so I think sometimes when you're in that place and you're happy, that's usually when the energy comes, and then that right person is like, what you doing in here? So, I do think we do sometimes need to take a step back and just figure out what is it that makes us happy? What activities make us happy? And find a way to enjoy those things without necessarily meeting someone of the opposite sex.
I think it's easier to say that when you're younger. When you only got like 30 more summers, makes it a little harder.
I'm old now.
Like, wait a minute, I got like 30 more. Okay.
But Renee, isn't it more targeted on what you maybe, I don't even know, need or want, or what you tolerate or don't? Is it more targeted now? Can't you kind of see through
3 weeks?
Yeah, I agree. It is more targeted. But still in what is targeted, you still have to weed out who Tanera, like you still have to put yourself in situations where you still have to weed out people, right? Even though it is targeted, and there's still people who are going to waste your time, but still, I think a lot of times we kind of just, even in that world of targetness, we still wind up with someone because we're afraid of, like she said, being by yourself and knowing that, like I said, you only have a couple more summers left here. Or if I fall and I can't get up, I need somebody there. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but that would be my drive.
Like it's hot and your knees are giving out.
Help me out, huh?
Are you dropping it like it's hot and your knees are giving out?
What'd you say?
I said, are you dropping it like it's hot and your knees are giving out?
Listen, I stay on the pole, so when I come home from being on that pole.
So I think the thing is like, are we?
I answered your question.
I wanted. So Rana, you said something that kind of.
I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry.
Weeding people out. Do we get, Renee, and this is maybe for you, have you gotten to a rhythm where everybody is automatically, you're going to weed them out and not necessarily open to what you're not?
No. I don't automatically know I'm going to weed you out, because as we know, when you meet people, you meet their representatives, right? So and you start to peel layers off and really get to know them. And sometimes people, I'm not pressed. So I don't have, like, even though I only have 30 more summers, I shouldn't say that. I have 40 more summers. So I know that there are layers that you have to take off of a person. But ask me that question because I lost my train of thought. I'm having CRC, can't remember shit. Go ahead. What is it?
I think I was just saying, are you open to the engagement that could lead to that lead with when you're within that relationship for real? Or is
Am
it
I,
just like he's courting me, I like him, he's courting me, he's doing this right, he's courting me.
I don't understand your question. Does someone else understand it? I don't understand.
I'm saying, like, are you open to courting? Are you really open
Yeah,
to?
I'm
It
definitely
sounds like
open.
somebody who's very guarded, even in the getting to know phase, as y'all decide y'all are really going to explore more.
I'm open to courting. I don't have a block. I don't have a.
Okay.
I'm open to courting.
Okay.
I'm just not pressed about it, but I am open to courting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you open to courting a man if you meet the right
So
person?
so so
As opposed to,
what does that look like to me? So I listening to the fellas. I do things because I like to do them, right? So I'm gonna cook because I want to cook, right? I'm going to be creative because I want to be creative to you, creative for you. So if that is courting, then that's what I'm doing. If that makes sense, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just me. That's just who I am. But if that is courting you, then I'm courting you.
Sometimes it's like doing something special outside of the norm for
Well, I'm so for me, I'm always outside of the box. It's just me. So I don't want to do something that I know I'm not going to be able to maintain or I don't want to maintain. So I'm just going to continue to be me. And if you look at it as courting, that's fine. But it's just me sharing who I am, and ideally you'd like who I am. And if you want to put it in the box of courting, that's fine. But it's just me being who I am and
Yeah.
hoping you're interested.
I think that is courting. I mean, at the end of the day, I can meet 5 guys and only one of them is going to get me what I like to do. I mean, I'm not cooking for all 5, even if I like to cook. Like, I'm just not going to show up the same for each person. So I
Right.
think we put this big term on it. I think it's just chemistry.
Yeah.
Is when you meet someone and you are willing, like I do for my kids. You know, I wake up at 6 a.m. to make pancakes. Those are my babies. But, you know, if 10 other babies come over here, I mean, we're going to have to do Pop-Tarts. I love the kids, but you have your people that, you know, you sacrifice for. So, you know, I think it's the same in relationships. It is just being you, but everyone doesn't get Ronnie, you know? And so I think that's what Reggie was saying with him and Prudence. You know, they met and they just brought their personalities and they found that it was similar, and the way they are naturally is exciting for each of them.
It's an energy. It's an energy that some you probably just don't have with everybody, but you have with that person. And are you open to explore it? I think that's the question I said. When you have that energy and you meet that energy, how willing are we open to really? I know Reggie was, I know certain people are, but I know certain people are constantly having questions and doubts, not necessarily about the person, but it's probably more so about themselves. So that's why I asked Ronnie, that's why I asked you the question, because that's kind of the energy I was getting. Sorry.
I want to say one more thing, then I promise I'm going to be quiet because I've been talking a lot. I think the real question here is, how often do you meet people and you don't have that energy and you know you don't have that chemistry, but you stay?
Yep.
That's 95% of these scenarios where people are with people and they're trying to make it fit because they don't want to be by themselves or whatever the scenario is. It really becomes, that's the question, why? When you meet that special person, I mean, you just know.
Yep.
Everything in you just know. But how often are we meet? I don't meet that special person often.
You think
No.
people are doing that on looks or energy? I feel like people compromise
I think
on looks.
it's a combination of all
All
things.
of it.
And desperation, like you said, I have only 30 summers, so I gotta make this fit and I gotta make this work.
Gentlemen, I want to ask the men this
Yeah.
question. What about you guys? How often are y'all meet? Well, clearly, Reggie, you met yours, but before you met your wife, how many women were you meeting or dating that you were just, you said there was a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah, I guess pretty often, I had, like I said, I had no intentions of being married, before. So I was just, if it was cool, I was cool. I'm just going with the flow. So
How were they showing up? The ones that were not, they stated they weren't matching what they were saying. What were some of the things that you were saying?
I mean, it was just okay. They stated, oh, I don't want to date forever. I want to be married, but like I said, their walk just didn't match. Didn't match the talk. And there's just certain characteristics that I need as a man that I was not seeing.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm pushing. Like,
well, just honesty, just pure honesty, honesty and being accountable. Those are just some things that that I have to see in a person, to let me know that, hey, this is somebody that that I can be with long term. And I guess also too, it's just a certain reciprocation that you would expect to receive from that person, that lets you know that, hey, this person is someone that you can definitely live your life with. And until I actually got that from Prudence, I hadn't seen that. So I was just having fun. I figured I wouldn't be married, and that's why I didn't press about it. I was just having a good time, dating, hanging out. I could have possibly did just a long-term relationship, and settled for that, but in previous relationships, I was just not drawn to want to marry anyone.
you were out in them streets, Reggie.
I wasn't in the streets, I was
Reggie
In the pews?
was I in the streets? I was having a good time. I was single guy,
messing with the not the usher board, the the nurses. They were sprinkling with a little holy water.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just had a good time, and if they weren't serious, I wasn't either. So it was just, but like I said, when I met Prudence, the vibe was just different. We liked a lot of the same things, we did a lot of the same things, and we meshed. It was natural. It wasn't forced or anything. It was easy. And so she stated her intentions. I saw what I needed to see.
What did you see, Reggie? Just one thing. You don't gotta give it all. Just one thing.
She was a very genuine person, very caring person, very sweet person.
Is there a specific example of the genuine? I think that's what we're getting at. We want to know what it is specifically.
That made you
example that showed.
I want to know what made the off switch go on.
Okay, let me give you a little background. I have 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it was very important to me that whoever I married would be someone that I wouldn't mind my daughters emulating.
Got it.
And Prudence is very, very thoughtful and giving person. She's a God-fearing person, and she's a lady, and she also, she took to my girls for one, and they took to her. And
from the time you said you had 3 girls, I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
because we are not
and they didn't take to everybody. This was very different. The nucleus was different, and they had a cohesiveness, an energy, and they really took to her. And so, and she was someone who I felt, led her life in a way that, I would not mind my children emulating. So,
Says it all.
That was very important to me.
Yeah,
when it
that's
came to
awesome.
marrying someone. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Michael, what about you? Are you meeting the women that you want to court, or are you just similar question?
I've met the woman that I want to court, that I'm courting,
Okay.
and extremely happy about that. That's all I could say.
That's it.
It's a little
That's it.
vague, but
That's very vague, Michael.
Michael, but what is some of the qualities that make you want to be with someone, that makes you want to move from dating to courting to long-term relationship? Is there a specific quality that you're looking for?
Character, honesty, someone that matches your energy, someone you can learn from, someone that has the ability to disarm you so you could truly be yourself.
Do you have a specific
Yeah.
example? Do you have a specific example that they need to have? Something like what Reggie said, like, do they need to meet your kids first? Does your kid need to like them? Do they need to show something specific to say, this is the one?
Yes, absolutely. I meeting their family members, their friends, their kids, people that are important to them in their lives. Something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like she's standing right next to Michael and she's like, say this.
I'm being vague, but
I'm teasing you.
Is she standing in front of you,
I
Michael?
know, it feels like she's standing right there. You gotta stay the right
Is she on the table in front of you, Michael? Standing?
I have there's a pole right here, and she's
Oh, Lord have mercy. She's swinging from the pole, Michael.
yeah, I'm kind of distracted right now. But go ahead.
Now that's courting.
That's 40.
Right? And she got to maintain that
Yeah.
from here on to perpetuity.
Because he seems mesmerized.
Dr. Reggie said courage, conviction, sincerity, simplicity, vision, and vulnerability.
What does that mean?
I guess those are his requirements for him to.
Oh.
Oh,
You know what?
Courage.
People are putting their requirements.
Let me.
Go ahead, Michael. Michael.
I wanted to say this. I was married when I was 22 years old, and just learning through my marriage. I was married for about 27 years.
Did you say 27?
Yes.
wow.
That's impressive, Michael.
Extremely.
Yeah. And one thing that saved my marriage over and over and over, because listen, I made some stupid mistakes, was the fact that I never stopped courting my wife. I never stopped being romantic.
Were you courting because you were constantly in trouble, though?
See, no, I'm a hopeless romantic. No, I'm a hopeless romantic. You know, as a Haitian man.
Do you get in trouble so you could do a makeup court, though, Michael?
Like, because flowers as a
Yeah,
policy.
sometimes it works. The bedroom is.
You got a little spice in it. You like, I know I did bad.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You like the
No. It was just the natural life mistakes that I made. But the reason why I'm saying is because it did help me through my marriage. And in 2015, we finally finalized our divorce. And for years up until now, I was just dating. I never really courted anyone up until the person that I'm with now.
What kept you in that cycle of dating, Michael? I think that's one of the questions I just want to ask really quickly.
Honestly, it was a bit of freedom. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go without any restraints, any oh my God, I'm married and I can't do this. It was just exploring. But I never really courted during that time anyone until I met the person I felt that to do that with.
That's cool.
That's amazing. Are you gonna look? I'm like, are you sealing the deal? Let me stop. Let me leave you alone, Michael.
Well, I am actually curious from the panel. What are some of their examples of a great courting experience that they've done in the past that's memorable?
That we've done, or that
Yes.
was to
Either
us?
you've experienced or done. Tanara, go.
So my
Oh,
daughter's
my-
dad, when we first started dating, it's his birthday. It was his birthday, and I set up a date for a helicopter ride around New York City and dinner at Tony DiNapolio's. And I presented him with a gift. And I remember I didn't tell him what I was going to do. I just took him to the heliport, and he tries to play cool because that's who he is. And I went to the bathroom and I could hear him on the phone behind the wall going, "Oh my God, she took me on a helicopter ride." And then, of course, when I came out the bathroom, he hung up the phone. But that was probably like one of my,
Oh, that's sweet.
That's cute. That's sweet.
thank you.
I ain't doing that, but that's sweet.
That's very sweet.
But to me, it was just a nice gesture.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
But
That's nice.
but
That's something he always wanted to do.
no, he didn't. No, I just thought it would be a really dope gesture, and I thought, and it was his birthday,
very sweet.
That's
and he had
nice.
never done it. So
Reggie,
Was that you courting?
it was me just being creative because most people say I'm creative. It was just me being creative, doing something that was dope. And
see, and then we get this. Was that something he liked or you wanted to do? Does it matter?
well, I'm in all honesty, this is between me and y'all. He wasn't the first person I did that for.
Oh, are you like your cousin and taking people to the Lion King on the first day?
You see, we related, right? No,
That's
I've
sweet.
only done it twice.
Okay.
But
you
I'm
only
just
do it for
saying,
those
but
people who
I'm
are
just
special.
letting you know it is just me. That is just that's just me. Have I done it since then? No, but it's just me.
Yeah.
They say, why wouldn't you do the things? That's a good question. Do you guys why would you do that? If it's, yep.
So it's interesting. So when you asked the question, I couldn't think of anything because I guess I was thinking in the context of like something really exciting, like that sort of thing. I was like, oh, I don't know if I've ever really done that. But in the context of the question that's being asked in the chat, I think that's how I like to be courted. Again, like just taking pressures off of my day-to-day life, just being this personality. So the guy I'm dating had family coming in, a whole lot of family or whatever. And I like to decorate. His house was fine, but it wasn't, my decorating. So like on my own, I just like ordered Amazon stuff and I had some stuff and went and just like decorated because I knew, his family coming in, he wanted everything kind of set up a certain way and looking a certain way. So I do try to at least take the time to listen to kind of where someone is. And if they need help with something, just kind of make it happen without them having to ask.
Yeah, just to fill in the things that they need at that moment.
Yeah.
I like that. Reggie?
Huh. Wow, I was been sitting here trying to think of some of the things, but
Listen, we want some ideas.
Come on
I should
now.
have started with
Well,
something small like I made a hamburger.
Conversation
easy.
well, I remember when we first started dating, we actually kind of guess we actually planned our first weekend together. I guess we did that kind of together though. We went to a Babyface and Tamia concert, which you guys, that's pretty romantic, right?
That is pretty
And
romantic.
so yeah, that Friday night we went to see a movie that Issa Rae was in. It was some kind of love.
Oh, was it The Photograph or
But
something
yeah,
like
it was
that?
awful. But you know what? We were so in love, and we didn't care how awful that movie was. It was just the most loving thing ever. But so we did that, and the next day went to the concert, and we went to brunch the next day after that, and just had an entire weekend of just us, and staying in and staying in and out. So it was just spending time with each other is kind of just what we really love to do. So.
Okay. All right. Michael?
Cooking. I love to cook. Doing, staying home, cooking, and then watching a movie. Simple.
That's a done lie. Michael.
Michael, come on. You be
Damn
the
lie.
finances of
Come on
courting. Come on, Michael. Michael said that's what he likes to do. He likes to cook.
No, some of the
on.
most treasured moments and beautiful moments have been some of the most simplest moments that forever live in our memory and our relationship. I'm sorry?
One experience that sticks out to you. That was the question.
Oh. She actually took me away. We went away.
Okay.
Yeah, we went away. For my birthday, she planned this whole trip to Canada. I didn't know that we were going to Canada. And we went up staying at the Ice Hotel and skiing.
That's fancy.
That was it.
That's fancy. All right, Mrs. Charles. Anyway, Anthea.
Ooh, Lord Jesus.
Anthea, what about you? What's your courting?
I told him that you need to get off the pole.
Oh.
Right now.
He's maxed out on compliments. So get down.
Lord.
I've had a lot of different experiences that I thought were really nice, but one that really stuck out to me, I think, was like this past summer, being taken to flown out to another island. And I think what was really sexy for me was the fact that I didn't have to fill out documents. It was done for me. I think that was just like one of the most sexiest things that have ever happened. And I thought that, it showed a lot of care and thought into that process.
So you were courted, not you courting someone, because I thought the question was, how did you court someone?
I said, or vice versa.
Oh, well, then I need
an experience.
I was courted.
An experience.
An experience. And I thought that experience was really beautiful. Whether it materialized into anything in terms of long-term or marriage or whatever, I thought that specific experience spoke to me and was beautiful.
So then I have a do-over. So for me, the most memorable courting for me was a person I was in a relationship with, and literally like at least twice a week he would have flowers or fruit baskets sent to me at my job. And like I had never had that done before at such frequency. And the people at my job was like, you need to marry this guy. but then I realized it was a backstory. But it was still a memorable, it was still a good, memorable experience in my life.
Mine is we love music, and he turned 50, and the song that he first played to me was Silk Sonic Soul. And so I bought tickets to the concert in Vegas because I knew we just both wanted to see that experience live. And so I made that happen for us. So that is my courting. That's what I do. That's how I show we both love music. And so whenever I see a concert, I get us and we go and we have an experience. So those are the things that I just like to, those are some of the things I like to do. We're at a point at this point in our conversation where we have our fireside questions before we go to the after party. So I only have a couple of questions because I feel like y'all have answered some of these. But what is the impact of your family on courting versus dating? Like when you're about to introduce someone, what impact does your family have on you courting versus dating?
Can you reframe that?
Huh?
Can you reframe that question? I'm sorry.
When you are courting, the pressures of courting or dating, what impact does that have? Think about the holidays and you're going to introduce someone that you've been dating maybe, but nobody's met them. Does the status of the relationship, whether you're courting or dating, what impact does that have on them to meet your family or your close friends?
Oh, does it need to be serious for them to meet them?
I guess, yeah. Or can you just be dating?
Okay. I understand the question.
Yep. What about, okay, we'll start with Tanera since you.
I don't care. My friends and family can meet you if you homeboy, dating, serious, but I will say it. Like I will tell them, this is my friend, only my friend. This is, and associate.
My man. That's vague, Tanera. You ain't vague.
No, I'm not vague. No, my family and friends will know exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. So the status of your relationship will be clear as you
introduce. It will be clear. But they can all meet my friends and family. That's not like if a guy thinks he's special because he's met, I mean, that's not my thing, which I'll tell him that as well. Like this doesn't mean it's special. It's just Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Okay. All right, Reggie. Reggie, you know your girl. What about you, Reggie?
Oh, well, I just kind of go with the flow. I don't bring anybody around that I'm not, interested in, or, and it's not really a moniker for me. So, whoever I'm with would have met, my family.
You said your daughter. So the women you were dating before your wife, did they meet your daughters?
Probably only one person only met my daughter. So yeah, we talk about my daughters. That's a little different. I have a brother and sister, and anybody can meet them. So, but yeah, my daughters, I didn't bring too many people around my daughter. So no, you're right. So I am pretty particular about that, because
as you should.
Yeah, they'll let me know.
Okay.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Renee.
So, bringing someone around my family for a function or whatever, I'm like Tanera. I'm not hiding. If they ask me a question, I'm stating exactly who you are, and it's likely understood before we get there. But in relation to my daughter, only people who are going to matter to me are the ones that I will bring around her, and it's very far and few between.
Okay. Michael?
I have no problem with introducing the person that's in my life to my kids. I have no problem with that at all. I don't want to hide anything from anyone.
So even the
especially my
women,
family.
so the women that you were dating, they met your kids as well.
No,
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
no, the ones that I didn't.
Those,
Plus, I have a daughter.
them over
I
there.
have a daughter. I have a daughter, so I was very cognizant about that. No, they didn't. Only the individuals that I was serious.
Oh,
Oh,
it's-
oh, there.
You said all we heard was serious, and then you went black.
Yeah, if I'm the person that they have met are individuals that I was serious serious about.
When do
Can
you?
can I add something real quick? I know I don't get a second chance.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I do want to preface it by saying I have a lot of play brothers. Reggie is a play brother. And if Reggie met my family, like
You're
I would
breaking
say,
up.
this is my homeboy. So they've met a lot of guys, but most are friends. So that's why I say, like, everybody can meet everybody. But it's, I'm not saying I'm just like dogging a dude out like you're nobody. I just want to clarify because Reggie got all wild on me. But
She'll tell me.
I know she will. I know she will, Reggie. Do you communicate your expectations when courting?
all of them plus some.
What you said? All of them plus some, Tanera.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I was
Do
clowning.
you communicate your expectations when courting?
Only when necessary. If it calls for me to state them, then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you know you're being courted and that's the conversation, then yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Michael, do you communicate your expectations when courting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
At this age, who has time to waste?
Okay. All right. Okay. What makes a person courtable versus dateable to you? Somebody just dropped their head. Lord have mercy. Michael, you just dropped your head.
I
Answer.
know. Wait. I didn't quite hear that.
You
Just
heard that
went out.
question. What makes a person courtable versus dateable to you? One quality: courtable, dateable.
Character.
Character is what makes them courtable. Okay.
Chemistry.
What's
It can't
chemistry,
be one.
Tanera? Renee?
It definitely can't be just
Chemistry.
one thing for me. That's
Okay,
a hard. That's a hard.
two or
one for me.
three.
That the person that one that I'm more than interested. That the person is solid, and that they're I can see a future with them. Like I can't just sum it into
All right.
one word.
Reggie, what made her courtable?
Definitely, character. Her.
I mean, he said that like 12 times.
Yeah, I know it, and
Sometimes you gotta
her,
restate it.
and now even her family. I fell in love with with her relationship with her family and the relationship that her mom and dad had with each other. So I saw a future in that with her. So she pretty much walked the walk that she spoke about, and that she
I love her name too.
I love it, Prudence. One last question. Are you looking to court now or date now? If you had your druthers.
Yeah, Reggie. No, I'm kidding.
We know Reggie is
I'm in the
courting
courting
Prudence until the end of
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. I'm courting.
Courting. Tanera,
I'm
Renee.
courting.
Court or date?
Court.
Court. Renee?
Date.
Date. I love it. Anthea.
I want to court to a stable relationship.
You want to court to a stable Michael?
Courting.
Courting.
Hopeless romantic.
Hopeless romantic. And there we have it. I am. This has been interesting. This was these 4 C's, y'all. These 4 C's. So we've covered communication,
Coughing.
cuffing. Well, no, convenience, communication. Now courting. Next week we will be talking about commitment and what does that look like at this age. So as we continue to explore these conversations. And courting, as I always say, I really believe it's the engagement of building and keeping your relationship going and the energy you put into it and you put into each other. It is an us thing. So thank y'all again. I will see y'all next week. Thank you, Montaigne, as always, coming to the after party. Oh, we are going to Antigua. We still have a few more spots. The deposit is due on Friday. If y'all want to go, it's going to be a blast. Yes. It includes the private island party, reggae in the park, the boat cruise, Shirley Heights, so on and so forth. See y'all in the after party. Come and meet the panel. We can continue the conversation. And good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Join Stacked After Hours, The Spot, where grown men and women gather to have candid, also honest discussions about the state of life, love, and more. The Spot is a hybrid of in-person and weekly virtual gatherings. Join our Facebook group and answer our daily questions. Subscribe to our YouTube for our weekly live talk shows and join us on Zoom for our talk show after parties for lively conversations with other opinionated, grown and sexy professionals. Just search, like, follow, and subscribe to Stack After Hours on Facebook groups and YouTube. Also like and follow our brand pages at Be Stacked Wellness on Facebook and IG. So wherever you are, at home or abroad, pull out your laptop, tablet, or smartphone and join in the conversation with the members of Stacked After Hours, The Spot by Be Stacked Wellness. See you there.
As you know, and if you are new to the Stacked family, we always keep our conversations lit and enlightening.